Good morning, SLO. My name is Katarina Axelsson, and I'm the founder of Tastry. And at Tastry, we like to say that we taught a computer how to taste. Tastry is a software and insights company that used unique AI, analytical, and flavor chemistry methods to predict how consumers will perceive sensory-based products like wine, food, and fragrances. And since our time at the Hot House, which was more than a few years ago, we've gone through a lot of iterations, and today our product offering focuses on wine, retailers, and wineries. And our mission is to connect people to products they will love and to provide transparency from the winery to the retailer to the consumer so that everyone in the entire supply chain wins. And back in late 2015, before I started Tastry, I worked as a chemist at a custom crush winery to pay for college. And I noticed that it was common to, for example, have a 10,000-gallon tank of wine that you could sell to half to one customer in one label, half to another customer in another label, and the same wine would go under two different bottles, but it would receive different industry scores from the same wine critics. So I saw this opportunity to test a hypothesis. So I got permission from management to act as a mad scientist in the lab after work hours, which I did for about a year and a half until 3 or 4 a.m. And at that time, I developed a large database of wine chemistry where I measured the chemistry in a way that I thought would be closely attributable to consumer perception as opposed to for quality control purposes, which is what everyone does. And then I took this data set, scheduled a half-hour meeting with a professor in computer science at Cal Poly. He was just supposed to answer some of my questions about how to process data, which I didn't know anything about. And it turned into a 4-hour meeting. He invited other professors to join. They started talking amongst themselves and drawing diagrams on the board and kind of forgot about me. And long story short, we ended up working together and later validating and patenting our method to predict consumer preferences for sensory-based products using chemistry. And that's why we like to say we taught a computer how to taste. So we have two unique innovations. One is the chemistry, the other is the AI. Both these technologies solved a problem multi-billion-dollar companies couldn't, and we answered questions they didn't know to ask. And it all comes down to our ability to break down the flavor matrix. And I'm just going to nerd out for a second here. In a wine, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of compounds. And every red wine, for example, has a compound called benzaldehyde, which is one of the many flavors responsible for cherry. But not every red wine is described as tasting like cherry, and it's not because of the presence or absence of benzaldehyde, but it's because of the presence or absence of all the other compounds in different ratios that are allowing benzaldehyde to either be masked or expressed. So we use our unique technology to get insight on this complex flavor matrix. So the first product in the market was a personalized wine recommender, where we installed an iPad in grocery stores, and in 10 questions or less, we can recommend your favorite wine in that store. And with our early customers, we saw that shoppers who used Tastry scored the wines they bought on average 45% higher compared to any other method they would use to buy wine. And retailers saw a 5% increase in sales and 18% increase in margin. So since then, we've partnered with one of the largest grocery retailers in the US and in Europe, and we've expanded across the US. And we've started to see insight on the market no one's ever seen before. We saw that we could use this insight to help category buyers make data-driven decisions on how to optimize their product mix. And then we could take this data to wineries and help them figure out their markets of opportunity. So it became a much bigger idea. Eventually, we worked with one of the largest wine US manufacturers and distributors, and we ran a test where we predicted the aggregate consumer scores for wines in the US market within 1/10 of a point before they hit the market, which means that we can save a 2-year multi-million-dollar investment and predict and increase its chances of success. So this is a data company like Nielsen only wishes they would have. So we're we're really proud of that. And almost done. So what started as a personalized wine recommender eventually evolved into a data-driven insight solution, and we've grown from 4 founders at the Hot House who were learning about business to an 18-person company, and SLO is the perfect place for a company like ours. And that's where we are today. So thank you.